Hello everybody. Okay, so this is an add-on system for my mob arena. I'm just gonna jump right into it. To start, we need to build a randomizer. You can use pretty much any randomizer you want. I'm just gonna build this one. I don't know if someone came up with this before me. I'm sure they have. It's really simple. So to build it, start just a command block. In this command block we're going to have scoreboard players # random wave. You can call that whatever you want. I'd call it random wave just to keep up with the tutorial a bit easier. Wave 1. Wave is the objective, and that's all explained in the original tutorial, which you really should watch before watching this one. And then a 1. So it's going to add 1 point to fake player random wave's wave objective each time it's activated. After that, we put a block on top of it with a stone pressure plate. That's important. Can't be wood. And over there we have a block with a dispenser on it facing towards the pressure plate. Command block and a stone block above the dispenser. Redstone dust on top of the stone and the command block. Now, in this command block, we are going to have a clone command with relative coordinates. So we're going to clone same x, y will be 2 up, and then same z. And then just repeat that, just like that. Then we do y -3 and same z, just like that. So it's going to clone 2 blocks above, which will be this dispenser. It's going to clone this dispenser into this dispenser. In this top dispenser you can place some villager spawn eggs and some item, any item, and you can mess with putting it in different spots or whatever just to adjust the probability that a villager will be spawned. So basically whenever this dispenser is activated, it's going to pick one of the slots, and if it shoots out a villager, that's going to add a point to fake player random wave. And how it all works is you will have multiple of these, like you can see there obviously. So you just fill it in, and to build another one, just like that. It's important that both the bottom dispenser and the top dispenser are facing the exact same way. And just copy this command to this command block, the same down here. Fill it all in, and just the same there. You can have as many of these boxes as you want. I have, I believe, 30 set up, but only 15 active. The number of randomizers you have is going to be equal to the number of different mob types you have to spawn. Or if you have higher waves in the linear system for the shuffled waves, well, I'll get into that later. So once you have all the boxes set up, you're just going to, at the edge of right behind the top middle command block, there's going to be a repeater on 2 ticks, then a block behind it with redstone dust, and 2 command blocks. These are just kill commands. Kill at E, type equals item, radius equals 40. Radius is just the size, just enough to cover your randomizer or more and not get any unnecessary villagers or items to be killed. Just so it doesn't kill every villager or item on your world, in your world. And then kill at E, type equals villager. So it's the same commands, just different types. One is item, one is villager. All with redstone dust on top. Then we go into this clock. So just have a repeater going into this block. And a little donut shape. I think 4 repeaters is pretty good number. I think it works pretty well, so just copy that. Obviously comparator there. And 2 blocks behind that, a piston and a redstone block. And then this little thingy, this hopper with the chest. And then the comparator going into the piston. So I think you can see it clear enough what to build. Just gonna look at it. And then staircase down into this with a repeater on 4 ticks. It doesn't really matter what times you do. You can play around with it. It's just going to adjust how quickly mobs are spawned. I would have at least some delay because it might break it a little bit if it's too fast. The number of command blocks you have is equal to the number of different mob types. So I have 15. You may have 10, 5, whatever. But in all of the command blocks, we are having a scoreboard player's test, and then that fake player random wave from the randomizer, wave 1-1. So it's going to test minimum of 1, maximum of 1 for that score. So it's just going to look for that score of 1. Then it goes into a comparator block, another comparator. It's important to have these command blocks on blocks. Doesn't matter what type of blocks, as long as they're solid and so can transmit redstone through them. Can't be like glass or anything. And then this is going to be scoreboard players set fake player random wave 0. So basically that's just going to reset the random wave so that it can generate another number instead of piling on to the previous number. Just keep adding. We don't want it to do that, because obviously that's going to go above our maximum random number, which is 15 in my case. Before you do the next command, you're going to have to build these 2 boxes. This one will be, we'll call it RandStand box, and this one will be mob box. And mark down the coordinates right on the inside of both of these boxes, because we're going to use them in these next commands. So in this command block it's going to be summon ArmorStand, coordinates of the box inside the box, the ArmorStand, RandStand box, sorry, and curly bracket, invisible, capital I, :1, comma, CustomName, RandStand, curly bracket. So that's going to summon an invisible ArmorStand named RandStand in this box. So now In this next command block, it's the fourth or third if you're going from just these rows. It's going to be a TP command, TP at E, x equals the x coordinate of inside your RandStand box. So these are just the coordinates of inside the RandStand box again. Radius equals 1. Name equals RandStand. At P, and then the coordinates and radius of the center of your arena. Oops. Which in my case is that. So it's going to TP to teleport that invisible ArmorStand to a player within the arena. This next command is going to be to summon the mob. So for this first one, I'm just going to do a zombie, just a regular old zombie. Summon zombie, and then the coordinates of inside of the mob box, this box. Here's another TP command in this next command block. TP at E, type equals Mobtype, in my case zombie this time. Coordinates are inside the mob box again. Radius 1, obviously. To at E, name equals RandStand. So then it's going to teleport the mob that you summon to the invisible ArmorStand. Now I'm not really going to explain that in this video because I explained that I think pretty detailed in the update video. Now this next one is just going to be kill at E, name equals RandStand, just to get rid of the invisible ArmorStand. Now this next one is scoreboard players set at E, type equals Mobtype, and then the coordinates of the center of your arena again, mob 1. So it's going to set their score for the objective mob to 1. Again, I explained that in the original. Watch that if you haven't already. And then you just do the same sort of things for all of the other command blocks. So obviously the first row of the commands are going to be exactly the same. All of the commands are going to be exactly the same except for the summon commands, obviously, the mob summons, because you have to change what mob you're actually summoning. You can set that to whatever you want. And these commands, because of the type, so in this first one it's zombie, second one it's skeleton, just the same mob type as the one you summoned here. All of these are going to be the same, the exact same. And then this one you have to change the mob type again. And that is it for the randomizer and the wave setup, really, for full random mode. But remember to mark down the coordinates of this hopper and this chest, the exact coordinates. So in my case 1341, 61, 157 for the hopper, and then just Y60 for the chest. So mark those down. You can build this stuff anywhere. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you mark down the coordinates of everything. Where is it? Right here. So this is the wave, the active, full random wave activation system is what I call it. Have a hopper clock, two hoppers pointed into each other, mark the location, their coordinates rather, of this, on top of this hopper. Write them down. I'm going to use them later. Just very important to mark down coordinates. It makes everything so much easier. So in this first command block, Most of these are going to be the same, more or less, the same commands, but basically in this one you're going to do scoreboard players test, fake player final wave, wave 1 1. And we're going to get into what fake player final wave is in a second, but just fill that in. So it's going to test that fake player for a score of 1. Then we are going to do setblock. Well, you can see what you have to do here. Comparator into block, just like the random, with the full random wave system. So set block coordinates of the hopper 157, or sorry, just the coordinates of the hopper. Hopper 0 replace curly bracket items with a capital I, colon, square bracket, colon, curly bracket, ID, redstone, or whatever item, as long as it's stackable and such. Comma, count, colon, 10 for wave 1. You can set that to whatever you want. Basically that's how long it's going to be active for. So 10 redstone dust, when that goes out of the hopper into the bottom chest, it's going to stop the clock. And the clock just goes around, the clock from the randomizer just goes around and activates the randomizer several times. Then we're going to do slot colon 0 and curly bracket, square bracket, curly bracket. Just like that. You can copy that command with Control A, Control C, and then it's the same command in this one, except the count number goes up. So in my case it goes up by 5 every wave, and basically that just makes the clock run longer, which summons more mobs with each wave. You can set it to like 10, 10, 10 for the first 3 waves, and 20 or whatever you want to do. I just go up by 5s. And now the next one is really simple. It's just set block coordinates of the chest under the hopper, chest 0 replace. And that's the same for every single of these command blocks. Now we just want to do a tell raw. Tell raw at a coordinates of the center of the arena and the radius of the arena. I'll have a tell raw generator in the description, but I'm just going to say wave space one color red. So that's just going to say wave 1 when it's wave 1. And that's the same command, only in every of the command blocks except the wave number goes up by 1. So for wave 2 it's 2, 3 it's 3, you know. And that's it for that. Obviously in these other command blocks it's testing for wave 2. So start off with 1, 1, then 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, just with each wave. So now we will go into the various systems for the different wave or game modes. So this is the wave end system from linear mode. Slight change. Basically, instead of having this comparator go into this repeater, you're going to have a blank space here, which if you're on linear mode, it's going to set a block there. That's from the original tutorial, but this is just the change. So just have it like that, move everything one back, and the command is still the same. The commands are still the same in this system. So first we'll set up full random wave end system. Again, you can do this anywhere. So in this first command block, it is going to be testfor command, testfor at space at E, coordinates of the arena, score mob min equals 1. Again, that's explained in the original. Going into, again, just that empty space, and we're going to have it set up the blocks later, so for now just leave it as an empty space. Comparator going into that block, or that empty space, into a repeater, to a block with a torch on it, and then just a command block with scoreboard players. My space is messed up, I'm sorry. Scoreboard players add final wave, remember from the wave activation system, wave 1. So basically that's the system that counts what wave you're actually on for full random mode. And that's it for wave end system. Basically, if it doesn't find any mobs in the arena, it's going to turn on this torch, which adds a wave up by 1. So now, before we do the wave end system random, or shuffled mode, we're going to go back to the randomizer and mark the location, the exact location of this block, right above this redstone dust. The exact location, so in my case it's 1341, 63, 165, 63 because I'm obviously standing on top of the block instead of in it. Basically we're going to set a redstone block there. So mark down that location. Now it's the same type of setup for the shuffled mode. Command block with, in this, it's going to be the same thing as all the others. Testfor at E, coordinates of the arena, score mob min equals 1 with the blank space. Going into that block with the torch on it. Now this one will be, it doesn't really matter what order you do these two in, but one it will be scoreboard players add fake player final wave, wave 1, and another will be scoreboard players set fake player random wave, wave 0. Now, this is where the coordinates of the block above that redstone dust and the randomizer come in. So you're going to have a repeater on 4 ticks, and you're going to do set block coordinates of above the redstone dust, redstone underscore block. Then just go ahead and Control A, Control C, copy that command. Another repeater on 4 ticks, and in this command block we will have the same command except instead of redstone block it's going to be air. So that's going to activate the randomizer, wait a second, and then set it back to air. So that's just how it selects a random wave. So now that that's all done, we can actually get into building the shuffled wave system. So basically, what I did is I just copied the linear waves from the original arena, just copied that, and put it right up here. Once you copy up the waves, or you can build your own separate waves for this mode, it doesn't really matter. But you're just going to have this command block going into the summon commands. So command block repeater, comparator repeater on 4 ticks. And in this command block we're going to have scoreboard players test, fake player random wave, wave number min, wave number max. So 1 1 in this case for wave 1. And remember, fake player random wave is from the randomizer, from the villagers. So it's going to test for whatever number it generates, and whichever number it generates, it's going to just go into the waves and activate them. So again, these are all just summon commands with different mob types in them, different equipment, whatever. Behind all these command blocks is this line of blocks in Redstone with this hopper clock, with whatever in it, hopper clock, with the comparator and the repeater on 4 ticks, and mark the location on top of this hopper. You can already see it in action. The redstone block gets placed there to disable it, depending on which mode you have currently suggested, which we'll set up at the end once we have everything set up. So in these command blocks right here, it's going to be scoreboard players test, fake player final wave, wave 1, just like in full random to test the actual wave number, and then just a tell raw command for wave 1, just like what I did in full random. That's all this does. So command block, comparator, block with command block. It's important you have the blocks here because otherwise it's going to activate more than one at a time. So yeah, that's all that changes for these. Equal to how many waves you have. In my case I have 10. And that's it for the shuffled waves system. Remember, you'll know to do this if you watch the original linear recording tutorial, but at the end, after the summon commands, you always do a repeater with scoreboard players set addy type one of the mobs in that wave, mob coordinates of the arena, radius of the arena, mob 1, and then the other mob types, and yeah. So just remember to do that. But again, you should know to do that if you watch the original tutorial. So now for the win system for both full random and shuffled, this is really simple. Basically, just right next to the win system, right here, you have another command block. In this, you put scoreboard players test, fake player final wave, wave, and then number min, number max. So in my case 1111. Now the number is equal to how many waves you have total plus 1. So I have 10 waves, so I do 11. It's the same as the testing the villager from the original tutorial. It's the exact same concept, so you should understand it if you watch that. If you want different numbers of waves for full random than for this, you're going to have to mark down the location of this wool block. So again, it's comparator going into wool block, and then 2 repeaters on 4 ticks with a redstone going into the normal traditional win system from the original. But if you have different numbers of waves, so if you have 11 shuffled waves but you want 15 full random waves, you're going to have to add another command block anywhere, just as long as you have like a clock going into it. You can connect it to this, but just somewhere close to the win system. So in this, you're just going to do that same scoreboard players test fake player final wave 15-15 to test for 15, and then the same thing, connect it to the win system, and obviously connect a hopper clock to it. But I don't have to do that since I have the same number of waves for both full random and shuffled. So that's it for the win system. Now for the actual start, there's some add-ons that we have to do. Okay, next to the TP command, the teleport command in the game start system from the original, we're going to add a command block, and in this command block we're going to do scoreboard players set fake player random wave 0, and just put a redstone dust on top of it. Now next to the set block and the old commands from the original, we're going to add 3 command blocks. One right here going into a repeater with 4 ticks, and 2 more command blocks. In this first command block we're going to have set block, and then the coordinates above that redstone dust in the randomizer where we set the redstone block, and that same command from this system. So we can actually just copy this air command over and put it in this command block. So it sets the redstone block, and it sets it to air, and then we do scoreboard players set final wave 1. Put redstone dust on top of all 3 of those command blocks. And that's it for the game start system. That's all that changes for that. So now we're pretty much done except for the lobby activation, the mode toggle rather, in the lobby. So behind here you put a command block. You don't have to put anything in it yet. We're going to fill that out. So we'll do linear progression first. So to set it up, we just have 3 blocks with repeaters on them in a similar type setup like this, and just mark the coordinates behind all of these blocks. So just a row of 3 for how I have it set up, and mark down the coordinates, preferably naming them. So this one is shuffle or full random, so mark this one down, this one down, and this one down. So in my case 1263, 58, 214, 1262, 1261. So just mark those out. So in linear, I have the repeater going into a command block. In the first command block, it's set block 1291 73 146 wool. So that is that block that I told you to mark down in the wave end system of linear mode. So we'll TP to it right now. Right here, this blank space. That's what goes in that command block, or in that set block, right on the wave end system. So now in this one, it's setblock 1295.91.138 error. I believe that that is one of the other blocks similar to the wave end system for linear mode, the other wave end system blocks. So you're going to have two, set those to air. Two of them, both of them set to air. Basically, for whatever mode it is, you're setting that space, so if it's a linear, you're setting the linear space to wool and the other two spaces to air. And so if it's full random, you set the full random one to wool and the others to air. That's why it's good that you name them. Now in this next command block, so this sets block 1293.141 redstone block. Basically that's one of the spaces above the hopper, so since this is linear, it's going to set the hopper clocks to be stopped by placing the redstone block on top of them in the different wave systems. So we'll teleport to this one just so I can show you a little bit clearer. Right here. So this is the shuffled wave system, so it disables this clock by placing that redstone block right on top of it. Hope that makes sense. And again, you mark down the positions of all of these because you need to place redstone blocks on all of them, including this one. So that's what you put in that one, and this next one right to the side, or whatever way you decide to do it. Set block 1293.73.152 error. That's, I believe, one of the other wool block spaces for the other wave end systems. Now this next one is a tell raw at all, tells everyone that it's linear progression in dark red. You don't have to add that, you can add whatever you want. You don't even have to have the tell raw command, but I would just to make it a little bit more clear. Now this is the other hopper for, I believe, full random mode. You're setting it to redstone block. Again, the order is not important. Now this is a little bit more tricky. So set block and these coordinates are the coordinates of this command block right here behind the button in the lobby. So write down the coordinates of exactly this command block. So I'm standing on top of it, so my coordinates are 1286.59.195. Yours will obviously be different. So it's set block, coordinates of that command block, command underscore block 0 replace, then curly bracket, command with a capital C, colon, quote, set block, and then the coordinates of one of the blocks behind right here. So if you're on linear mode, you set it to, I do shuffled wave. So when you press the button, it's going to change that command block to then set a redstone block here on the next push instead of here in linear mode. I hope that makes sense. Basically, it's how you can have 3 toggles with only one button. So for linear, we do shuffled. So the coordinates of that space where you set the redstone block, and redstone block, comma, curly bracket. And that's it for that. Then 2 repeaters, both on 4 ticks. Set block, coordinates of this space, and air. This space where it sets the redstone block to activate the system, air. Just like that. So basically what it does is you press the button, it sets this block to redstone block, and then it gets rid of it. Just so it's a quick activation instead of having it stay on. The other commands are basically the same. So for full, we'll do full random next. In this one we have set block 129373 152 wool. So that's the wool block in the full random wave end system. Then set block to one of the other wave end systems to air, and the other one to, and this one is the hopper for the full random system. Set that to air, just so it's activated, you know. And set block to one of the other hoppers for shuffled system or random linear system to redstone block, you know, to deactivate the hopper. Just the same thing. And again, this is the hopper for either the linear or the shuffled system. Now we set the other block for the other wave end system to air. Remember, whichever system you're on, if you're on full random, you set the full random wave end system block to wool and both of the others to air, and that's the same for all of the other systems. Then it's just a tell raw that says full random in blue, and then that same set block command for the command block back there, except the coordinates change to the shuffled waves block coordinates. And then again that set block to air, so you set this block to air because it gets set to redstone, then to air after all the commands are done. So now in shuffled waves it's pretty much the same thing. Set that block to wool, the wave end system for shuffled waves. Set that to wool. Then the other wave end systems to air. I have a duplicate, so I'm going to delete that. So yeah, wool and air. The other wave end system to air. The hopper for the shuffled waves to air. We'll teleport to it. Right there, this to air, since it's for shuffled. Just like all the other systems. The hopper for full random and linear modes to redstone block. Both wave end systems to air, you know. Then the hopper for linear to redstone block. Again, you just deactivate both of those hoppers. Then that tell raw for shuffled, color dark green, you know. Then that same set block command for the command block over there, except this time we set it back to linear, so the coordinates of this block right here. And then set block air back to this right here. And that's it for the toggle system. So you press it, goes to linear mode. We're in linear mode, so now this hopper is deactivated. This hopper is activated because it's linear mode. And this hopper is deactivated, shuffled mode. And we'll go to the wool blocks. So for full random wave end system, it's an air block. An air block for shuffled 2. but for linear, it's a wool block. And that's it. That's all you have to do for this. It should work. Everything should work fine. Let's test it out real quick. We'll test out full random. Enter. Got our armor. Uh-oh, didn't say wave 1. I must have just messed up the tell raw command, I think. I probably didn't hit enter. But let's check it anyway. Oh, I forgot to add test. Test final wave. There we go. So that's it. It all works fine. And thank you for watching.